Avengers: Infinity War marks the 19th entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a record-breaking series that's seen the rise of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and most recently, Black Panther on the big screen. But of those 19 films, not a single female hero has been the title character, not even one as prominent as Black Widow. After making her MCU debut in 2010's Iron Man 2, Scarlett Johansson has since made 6 supporting appearances in the franchise as super spy Natasha Romanoff. But the internet has long held out hope for a solo movie for the Widow, a badass comic book character who's so much more than the token female Avenger. Despite the fact that everyone from Johansson herself, to Age of Ultron director Joss Whedon, to Marvel Comics legend Stan Lee has voiced their support for a Black Widow standalone flick, fans are still waiting. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige first stoked the flames of a standalone film in 2009, when he suggested that it was up to the people to decide. This idea that it's up to the fans to decide Black Widow's future has been a pervasive one. In 2010, Feige revealed that the studio had actually begun putting together concepts for a Widow solo movie starring Johansson. But he also followed that up with an important caveat: the Avengers come first. A year later, Feige said that Black Widow was more than worthy and capable of carrying her own film. 3 years after that, upon the release of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, the studio had again referenced the development work Marvel had done on the potential film. Then in 2016, he told Deadline that Marvel was creatively and emotionally committed to telling Natasha's story. For the most part, Johansson has left the ball in Marvel's court. Back in 2010, she echoed Feige, telling MTV News that Black Widow's future on the big screen was up to Marvel and its fans.
These movies are really fan-driven, and going into this film, I was hoping that the fans, the audience would like my interpretation of this character enough to carry the story along. I mean, certainly she has a 40-plus year legacy and quite an origin story. So there's a lot to tell. I'd be happy to don that catsuit again if I was called to duty. But I don't know anything about future projects. Of course, I know Marvel is really dedicated to this character. So I'm hoping there'll be some sort of call for it.
Since then, she's more or less had the same laid-back attitude about a standalone film, most recently telling MTV News that she was taking things one Marvel project at a time.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Infinity War, which is like the production is an infinity, and then I'll let you know afterward.
But as one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood, Johansson has proven herself more than capable of leading her own action franchise. And films like Atomic Blonde and Red Sparrow have proven that audiences have an appetite for female-led spy thrillers. So why has it taken so long to get a Black Widow movie made? It's impossible to answer that question without first acknowledging Marvel's process. At any given time, the studio has various films in multiple stages of development in the works, and it takes a while to get these films off the ground. Feige first talked about Black Panther in 2010, 8 years before it broke box office records in theaters.
We always talk about things. We all, in brainstorming sessions, which is where we spend the majority of our time, things come up and we joke and go, oh, that's phase 7, that's phase. But we used to joke about phase 2 and phase 3. So who knows? But right now it is, we set a plan, we put our heads down, and we try to make it happen.
But female heroines have never had an easy road to the big screen. Lionsgate first turned down a Black Widow script in 2004, citing other female-led action movies that failed to connect with audiences. That lack of representation in the superhero verse was so obvious that in 2015, fans started the hashtag Where's Black Widow campaign to call out Marvel and toy manufacturers for the glaring lack of Black Widow merchandise. There's also the fact that Marvel now seems more interested in bringing new characters to the screen. The MCU's Phase 3 has already introduced Stephen Strange, Peter Parker, and King T'Challa. And in 2019, it'll welcome its first female title character, Captain Marvel, into the fold. Still, of all the films Feige has teased over the years, the only one that remains perennially in development is Black Widow. It was even the subject of a Saturday Night Live spoof that put superhero sexism on blast.
When it came to life in the big city, Black Widow had it all figured out.
Remind me to call whoever invented heels and leave them a nasty message.
In this post-Wonder Woman world, however, the long overdue project has steadily been inching towards something a bit more tangible. In January, it was reported that Jack Schaefer had been tapped by Marvel to write a screenplay for a potential Black Widow solo project, something fans have waited nearly a decade for.
Rule number 1, never take your eye off your opponent.
Oh my God!
Infinity War isn't just about celebrating Marvel's past, it's about looking toward its future. A future in which Marvel will hopefully one day invest in its female characters as much as their fans invest in them.